This is Chrisferb, and I'm going to review how to do some basic statistical calculations in Excel. Okay, so I have this Excel spreadsheet open, and I just have a row of numbers up here. And so I'm going to click where I want, I'm going to use this column for my answers. So I'm going to click where I want the formula to show the result of the calculation. And then I go up to the formula bar. I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to start typing when I'm looking for AV. In this case, I'm going to type an average. But what you can do is right after you type AV, you'll see that you have some different average type of functions come up. And so I can just click on this one that says average. And so now all that I need to do is I can click on the number, the starting number that I'm looking to include in my row or my range, and I can grab this little arrow here and just go all the way out to the end, which is the M1. So it's actually B1 to M1, and you'll see it's all written up here for me. So I just do close parentheses. You always have to have the same number of parentheses, whether they're open or closed, and then hit enter. Okay, so there's our average. If you ever end up with any weird, you get in the wrong mode and it looks like you have these little ants going around in a circle, to get out of that, like select mode, you do escape, and that backs you out. Okay, now the median. So for the median, I'm going to put my cursor right where I want the answer again, and then I'm going to go and hit the equal, and I'm going to start typing median, M-E, and you'll see median shows up. Double click that right there, the median, and then I'm just going to click the numbers again. So 7, and then I'm going to go and just take my little cursor when it gets to those double arrows like that, and just drag it all the way over to my M1. So it's B1 through M1, and the little colon in there, that means it's a range. So now I'm going to go and finish it up with the close parentheses and then hit enter. So it's the same. The average and the median are both 5.5. And then for the mode, what we're going to do is I'm going to click on that and then put equal sign up there, and I'm going to type in the mode, M-O, and you'll see a couple things come up. So there's the mode, and then there's the mode multi and single, it looks like. And whenever you see that little, it's like a little attention triangle, that I believe means it's depreciated, but we're just looking for the simple mode one. I'm pretty sure the mode right here also works for mode multi. And then this one right here, MOD, that's modulus. So that's actually what you grew up knowing as the remainder when you do division. So that's what the modulus is, but we're just looking for the mode. And now I'm going to go and click on the column and the row that I want for the start, and then go all the way over to my M1, and that's B1 through M1, close parentheses, enter. And then the min, which is the minimum number, or the smallest number, I'm going to make sure I'm in the right spot, right there, and then click enter, and then I'm going to type MI, and see we have a lot of different things we can pick from, but we're just looking for min, M-I-N. Then I'm going to click on my 7 again, and then go right out, and go out to my my 3 out here. And it's the same range we've been working with. And then I'm going to do close parentheses, enter. And then for max, it's going to find our largest number. So it's very similar to the min, but it's the max. So I'm going to click on that right there, hit enter, and then MA, and then we see we have max A, max ifs, match, we just want max. And then I'm going to click on my 7, and then go all the way out to my 3. And so I have that same range, and that's the maximum number. So it's 10. And then for standard deviation sample, standard deviation population. So with the sample, it's the standard deviation calculation, except it's the sample standard deviation calculation, which has n subtract 1 as a denominator, and the population is just the population in. So when you're doing statistics, sometimes you wonder, should I use the population standard deviation calculation or the sample? Well, if in doubt, you usually use the sample, and it's because it has the n minus 1. And that is it's essentially an adjustment because there's an approximation of a population parameter. And so it having that n minus 1 versus just n as a denominator supposedly makes it more accurate. And so that's the way that works. So in this case, I want the standard deviation sample calculation or function. So I'm going to click on that. So I'm in that cell, do enter, and then I'm going to do ST. And you'll see we end up with a lot of things in here. So we have standard dev, standard DEVP. That might be, some of these look like they're depreciated, but what we really want is standard, the ST dev S. And we're going to do the same thing. We pick the 7 and then just go over to the 3 and then do close parentheses. So that gives us our standard deviation sample calculation. Now, if we want to do the population, same thing. Click on that cell, do enter, and then do ST, and then we have standard dev P. So that's for the population calculation. So remember, that just has the capital N, which is the size of the population, as a denominator in this calculation, instead of having the lowercase n as the sample size subtract 1. And so, like I said, only use the population calculation if you're really sure that you have an accurate count of the population size. And so most people don't have that, so you use the standard dev sample. So I'm going to click on the standard dev population for this one, and then I'm going to click on my 7, and then go all the way out to my 3, and do close parentheses. So you see the calculation for these two is just slightly different, and that's because the denominator calculation is slightly different. Okay, so the main thing to remember here is use the standard deviation sample formula. If in doubt, use that one. It's usually considered the one to go by because often we don't have the full count of the size of a population. Okay, thank you.